Hello everyone, and welcome to turn 7 of my playthrough of Little Omaha, a scenario I've designed myself for the game Tide of Iron. It's still in its playtesting stages, but we've reached turn 7, or round 7, and as you can see, some of the Americans have made it onto the canvas boats, onto the River Vaal hexes, and they are attempting to cross. But unfortunately for them, the Germans have the initiative, and we're also going to try to first launch a few smoke rounds so as to provide them with a little bit of cover, because obviously out there on the water, they don't benefit from any innate cover from the river hexes. Neither does the bonus cover apply from the Elite Formations card, which would normally apply. They do still have one cover from Heavy Fog, which is actually heavy smoke in this scenario, but that's only one. So actually firing such a smoke round into the hex would probably give them some cover, if they succeed. Of course, also in front, or of course blocking, for instance, any units firing at it. So obviously that is something they will have to attempt to do first before attempting to cross any further. So let's just get going. I do see that I made a grave mistake with the Germans putting these two units in off-fire. Obviously, I shouldn't have done that. They have the initiative and will probably retain it for most of the game as it stands currently. Because, of course, now they would have been able to fire at them even without them moving. So what are the Germans going to do? So obviously not this. This 88 is also in op fire. So an option might be, for instance, to fire at this unit in the building or to fire at the adjacent Brits. I think we'll do that one for the concussive firepower bonus. So that's 9 dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 against 3 cover for the building, and 1 for elite formations and 1 for heavy fog. So heavy smoke. So let's see what happens. We score 2 hits and no saves, and it was normal fire. So 2 of these figurines are now dead. For the Germans' second action, let's see what they're going to do. They could fire some artillery, obviously, here. Well, why not try that? That might be an option as well. Then we might not get to see a lot of actual crossing of the river if this actually turns out to be effective. But let's see. Beforehand, I already purchased this one, so I don't have to pay for it again. Well, that's a suppressive attack, but of course, if it works out, then the boats won't be able to move if the infantry manning them is actually pinned or disrupted. So that might be an option. Even better would be to blow the boat straight out of the water. So let's see if I have any other cards available with normal attacks, an area attack, but no wide blast radius. That one is suppressive as well. And this one that's a normal area attack, which normally costs 4, but would now cost 3 because of the increased priority card. So the Germans have to pay 3 command here. This is, of course, an action, establish contact, which is normally a 4, and it goes down 1, so a 3 is enough because of the increased priority card. So let's see if we roll a 3. Let's see if I can do it on screen. That's a 6, so contact has been established. Target hex. Let's target this hex. There are 2 units in there, so it's definitely worth it. And with a wide blast radius, that one is a pretty powerful card. We do have to determine drift, and the drift number is it's within line of sight of an officer unit, so the drift number is 3. We roll a 3, so the attack is actually accurate on target. So we roll 5 dice against this hex and a wide blast radius of 3. So let's first go for that one. 5 dice, hitting on 4 pluses here. That might also change. That rule is actually in place so far because of all the units over here, which are practically invulnerable against regular artillery dice. Well, not the Germans, of course, but the Allies. But here on the river, it makes them incredibly vulnerable. So let's see what happens. That's 2 hits. Now let's roll for cover. Well, it actually doesn't really matter because whether they roll 1 or 2, they're actually lightly damaged. The boats themselves do not have any armor, and they are fragile. But even if they do roll 1 success for the heavy smoke, it doesn't make any difference. I can roll it anyway, but they don't even succeed. But 2 hits is lightly damaged anyway, and that goes for both boats then. Let's see. So these are both lightly damaged, and we're going to roll 3 dice against the medic. The medic's ability does not work on the water. Let's see. So that's 3 dice and 1 for the heavy fog. Let's see if the medic's ability doesn't work. Yeah, exactly. That does not apply. It wouldn't really make a lot of sense. So that's 3 hits and no saves. So that's heavily damaged as the rules currently stand. Yeah, so as you can see, this might be something I might have to change. Maybe no deadly artillery hitting on a 4+, but a regular artillery attack instead, because here during the river crossing is really devastating. Now we're still going to do the same roll for that hex over there. And that's 2 hits and no saves, so that one is lightly damaged. There we go. A boat can move, has 4 movement points. Each river hex costs 2 to move into. So it can only move 1 river hex at a time now because it is lightly damaged, and this one isn't going to move at all anymore, basically. We have, of course, this card has now been played. So I'll put it back. I'll just put it back at the bottom of the pile. Always put it face up so that I know that it's been played. And then the Germans have 1 action left. Of course, this has already taken place now. What else can they do? Could put that one in off fire. Let's just fire with the damage took here against infantry. That's a firepower of 3. This one is actually in the open, so that might be a better thing to fire at. Firepower of 3, and they do have 1 cover for being an elite formation and 1 cover for the heavy smoke. That's 1 hit but 2 saves, so nothing happens there. Okay, so it's over to the Allies now. I could do an assault attack and use this card, for instance. That might be an option. Relentless Assault. It might actually not be a bad idea, but first I guess I should set up that assault before doing that. There's nothing in upfire here, so let's do a fire and move with the British. 1, 2, and we're going to fire at the infantry in the building. 3, 4, 5, 6. One additional firepower divided by 2 is 3, and the building offers 3 cover. The heavy smoke offers 1 cover, and the elite formations offers 1 cover. But of course, we hit at a 4+. We have 2 hits and 1 save. And I didn't mention that, but this was actually a suppressive attack, which is, of course, usually the go-to way to set up. Then I should roll. I should have mentioned that, because then I would have had to roll 2 more cover dice. So, and as I didn't mention that, let's just say that it is a normal attack then, which of course isn't very handy in an assault. It should have been a suppressive attack here. But again, I would have had to roll 2 additional cover dice, 1 for the officer and 1 for the elite infantry, so I might not have hit at all then in the first place. So I guess we're okay. The second move for the Allies is going to be this one, the flamethrower. It's also going to do a fire and move. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 divided by 2 is 3.5 is 4. Did I do that correctly? 3, 4, 5 for elite formation, 6, 7. Yeah, that's 4. 4 dice against 3 for the building. 1 elite formations, 1 heavy smoke. Of course I could just kill it outright, so but then I couldn't move in. Well, I guess it's okay. Normal attack. 1, 2, 3 hits and 1 save, so that German squad is gone. The Allies have 1 move left, and what I want to do now is, of course, fire smoke here, but the smoke rules in this scenario require line of sight to the hex that you actually want to fire smoke into, and it's an action of its own. This one, of course, could do it. Yeah, which hex should they do it in? Let's target this hex, I suppose. Is that a good idea? Let's do it anyway. Just to see how the river crossing works. The Sherman is, yeah, that's the 3rd die. We're going to try and get smoke into this hex. We'll have to see if it works out. Just double check my own rules here, how firing smoke works again. Let's see, smoke rounds. The 2 Shermans that come onto the board with the British forces during the status phase of round 3 only may fire 2 smoke rounds each. Place them with those units for, or place special ammo markers with them to remind yourself. So how does that work? As an action, fire a smoke marker within range and line of sight. Use anti-infantry firepower, no concussive firepower bonuses or anything like that. Yeah, so anti-infantry range, of course. Target hex. We're targeting that hex. I put it there already. Determine drift. The drift number is an automatic 3 here. That's a 1. So we do have drift. So it actually moves into, because I rolled a 1 and a 3. And so I'm always confused which direction it moves into and which one is actually the one. The direction it goes into. 3 would be okay, and higher would be okay. I think it's direction 1, and it actually moves 3. But well, I'll do that for now. I'll double check that. I may be getting this the other way around, which actually happens to me. I think it moves 1 into direction 3. I think that's how it works. Direction 3 is over here. Yes. So that's where it moves, and it moves 1 hex, so it's here then. That's where it should be, which is not very handy. But first, the Germans move, because the Allies have had their, well, they don't have to move, obviously, but it's the Germans' turn again. So let's see what the Germans are going to do. Yeah, they cannot fire the 88, which would have been great as well. This unit could do something, but it's actually in the most favorable place it could be in, I suppose. Could try and move the 88, but I do believe that I first have to get the infantry out of the entrenchment to do that, because I would probably want to be, well, these block line aside as well. I would want to cover this bridge and that bridge somehow. I think I have to move out first with the, not entirely sure about that, but it would make sense that you can't move if you're in an entrenchment. So let's see, I'm just going to get this one out. Then we'll have to, and I won't be able to fire then, which basically means that this one can't do anything. So I'll fatigue that one as well. And then on the next round, they can move in here, or actually in here. The turn after it will take a while, but then I might be able to cover the bridge from two sides. From here, oh, the best thing to do then would probably be to move in here, so I can cover this bridge and somewhat cover this area as well still, because the railroad bridge is not very well guarded at the moment. What else do I want to do? I'll just put this one in on fire to stall a little bit. Yeah, so this one didn't really do what it was supposed to. What can the Allies do? Well, let's move this tank into position. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that. And let's fire and move then, and let's fire at the Stug. The Sherman's firepower is 8, so that's 4 with a fire and move, and the Stug's defense, I don't recall that off the top of my head, I think it's 4. It's the Stug from the Normandy expansion, by the way. Let's see if it's indeed 4. Yes, armor 4. So it's basically 4 against 4. So let's see how that turns out. That's 2 hits and 3 saves, so nothing happens there. The Allies have 2 more moves. What I could do... Yeah, I guess the 88 also could have fired at the Sherman, by the way, which they didn't do, but they could have. Let's see. Let's go for the... is there a card that I could use for the British? Specialized reinforcements. These are all command phase cards. Tank case, yeah, they're all... This one is action phase tank repairs. Okay. Not a bad card, I suppose. And they do have the command to actually do that. Well, I might want to do that later to that tank. No concussive firepower against ruins. Are those going to be a big threat to the Firefly? Probably not. But they're not in op fire, so maybe I can move this unit into here and do a fire and move. Or maybe even an assault with this card. During all assault attacks this turn, would be doing only 1 then. 1, 2, 3. Well, let's just do that. Why not? 1, 2, 3. And we're going to assault this unit over here. And of course the 88 could also respond to that. Do they want to do that? No, they'll save their fire for a tank. This unit would then have a firepower of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for elite formations, and 2 for the card, which costs 2, and the Americans have to pay for it. There we go. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 dice, and the destroyed building offers, I believe, 2 cover. Let me double check that, but I think it's 2. We have 1 for the heavy fog and 1 for elite formations, and this is an assault. Yes. So the Brits score 2 hits, but there are also 2 saves, so nothing happens. The Germans do roll back with 5 dice. This wasn't a very smart move, but hey, you learn from your mistakes, even though I should know this by now. I've played the game more than enough. This was just a very bad move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. And, they don't have any cover, do they? No, because they're assaulting. It's actually a good question whether they at least benefit from the medic still. But let's first see what they roll. 1 hit. Now I forgot what the British actually rolled. Well, for instance, there were enough cover, so I guess it was nothing. So this is so they don't get in, and they suffer 1 hit, I believe. So they actually get away. They're pretty lucky here. Lots of 3s and 2s and 1s and just 1 6. That could have ended up much worse for them. That was that one. Where did I put those? I have 1 more to go. Do I dare to move with the Sherman? I do dare to do it, but is it wise to do it? They have a firepower of 3 against vehicles from close range. That might be asking for trouble. Let's see if I can spot with the officer here and fire with the mortar at this hex and try to pin them. It's 5 dice, suppressive dice, 4 for the mortar and 1 for elite formations, 2 cover, 4 cover, and even 1 more for 2 for the building, 2 for the elites, and 1 for elite formations, and 1 for heavy fog still, right? So it's a lot of cover. No hits whatsoever, and lots of saves, so that didn't work out. So it's back to the Germans. Well, let's put them in up fire, why not? Then they might actually be able to respond to the tank if it moves forward. Yeah, it would be basically suicide to move forward now with these units, but it's probably not a very good idea to stay in place either. Anyway, the most important idea for this video was for you to see how the river crossing works anyway. So let's just go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to move this way. So at least it would be long range fire from the machine gun. So it's attempting to move into this hex. And now I have to check whether they actually end up in that hex, because they might actually drift. And now, of course, we also have a timing conflict, because what happens first? Do we actually get off fire, or do we actually get this? As you can see, I'm still playtesting, and there are some special rules here and everything, so sometimes you run into situations I should have anticipated, but apparently I did not. There's a special rule in this scenario called strong currents. Whenever a canvas boat wants to move into a river hex from another river hex, determine drift. The drift number is always 4. If drift occurs and at 1, 2, or 3 is rolled, automatically place the boat and the squad on it that many hexes to the west. So it always drifts west. Yeah, and it would be destroyed if it ever moved off the board. there's no need to use a north directional marker because it always moves west. Simply roll the black and red dice. So we actually roll lower than a. So we move 2 hexes to the west because of the black die result. That's where we end up. That's where we really end up. And now we're going to have up fire from the machine gun. That's 5 dice, 4 for the machine gun itself and 1 for elite formations. Here we really don't have a lot of cover, and the machine gun can actually choose whether it wants to target the boat or the squad, but of course it doesn't have very good range, but they do have range, albeit long range, because they're on a hill. It's actually a riverbank, and then the normal range is 2 and the long range is 4. So we're going to do that. 5 dice hitting on 6s. And do we have any defense dice? Yes, for the heavy fog, heavy smoke, but not for the elite formations and not for the medic because it doesn't work while they're on the river hex. And they roll 1 6, but also 1 cover die, so they're okay. And they can actually move further now, so because this boat has actually not been damaged yet, and they're going to try and move 1 further. The machine gun cannot fire it again, but the other 2 units here, of course, could with up fire. They want to move here, and we again go through the procedure of rolling the 2 dice to see if drift occurs. Yes. 4 is a drift number. It's actually 3. So it moves 3 hexes to the west. 1, 2, 3, which might even be a good thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it actually gets them within long range of these units, and that one could fire at the squad, not at the boat. I guess they will just forego doing that. They're not going to fire at this unit because being elite still does work, and they do get 2 cover dice against, well, not against normal fire, obviously. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, well, let's try it anyway. Normal fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice hitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hitting on 6s. 4, 5, 6, and we have 1 cover for the heavy fog, heavy smoke, and we have 2 cover for the elite units there. And it's 2 hits and 1 save, and so that's 1 kill. There we go. And of course, this unit is fatigued now as well. Well, not as well. This unit is fatigued, as is the squad boarding it, which is not a separate action. It just becomes immediately fatigued when the boat has completed its action. Squads can actually not take any actions while on board of a canvas boat. The only thing they do is actually make the boat move, but that's being represented by the boat moving, and they are actually fatigued once the boat has finished its move. And of course, the machine gun cannot fire it again because it has already fired at this unit this turn. Yeah, so that's basically how the river assault works. And again, I think I have to do away with the rule that the artillery fire hits on a 4+. On the other hand, the 4+ does give the German player a real choice between, okay, am I going to target some of the units in the city terrain itself with artillery, because then you actually do stand a chance of damaging them, and it somewhat prevents them from bunching up too much. but it's hugely deadly, as you can see, against units trying to cross the river here. So it's back to the Germans. What are the Germans going to do? They don't actually have all that many units left. Well, they do have some units left, but firing doesn't really make a lot of sense, so I'll just put some of these units in on fire. There we go. I want to hold on to my remaining artillery cards so that if and when the Allies do make a move for the objective hexes, that I can use artillery to try and push them off again. Let's see. So now it's the Allies again. Let's just keep on moving forward. This one will only be able to move one. It's trying to go into here. And again, we're going to roll the 2 dice for drift. And again, we drift. And we drift 2 hexes this way. It's always that way. And the machine gun is going to fire at it. 1, 2, 3 would be still long range against vehicles, but we are going to try that. I think I rolled too many dice before because I rolled a number of infantry dice against vehicles, I think. It should actually be 3 dice against vehicles, 2 for its regular firepower and 1 more for being an elite unit. And it doesn't, well, this one, of course, does still have cover from the heavy smoke. 3 against 1. No hits. But it cannot move any further because it's lightly damaged, and that means it has a move of 3 left, and each water hex actually costs 2 to move into, so we'll have to stop here. So again, both these units are fatigued, but fatiguing the squad does not use up an action. It's immediately fatigued once the boat gets fatigued. Let's see if I can move forward with any more units. Normally, as you can see, I didn't plan this well. I should have had 2 tanks here. I shouldn't have used up one of the smoke markers beforehand from this tank. You should have all of them left, and see if that works out, and try to block the side of any German units here, so you can avoid that. So you can avoid those units actually trying to hit you. Okay, well, this one won't be able to move at all anymore, so let's try this one. Let's try and move them over here, and then the smoke marker remains in place. This one actually does not drift, and it ends up where it wanted to end up. There we go. Well, you know the drill now. And they have 1 more, I think. So they're going to try and move this one over here. Yeah, I could, of course, still fire with that unit, but I'll save it for this one. Why not? So we're going to move this one over here. We're going to have to roll for drift again. That one ends up where it wants to be. And this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could fire at it, and it will, because this one is not going to move anymore. So long range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. 5 attack dice against, yeah, of course, I don't have the range against the vehicle, which is the boat. So I will have to actually target the squads there, and then they have 1 cover still at this point. Heavy smoke. We have, what was the range again? 1, 2, 3, 4. It was long range, so we have 1 hit, no cover. Well, no successful defense die, that is. So one hit, and both units are fatigued. Back to the Germans. I'm not trying to play completely optimally at the moment. I probably should be doing a few other things, but I just want to see for now if I can move forward with the Allies and see what happens. So let's put this one in off fire as well, and then we still have the mortar that could actually fire at something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, long range would work. And we're going to try that. 2 dice plus 1 for being elite formations. So 3 dice, and we're going to try and hit the boat over here. Which at this point has no cover anymore whatsoever, obviously, because it's no longer fresh, it's fatigued. So no more cover from the, not the elite formations card, but the heavy fog. So 1/6 would be enough to heavily damage it and destroying it. And we do roll actually 2 6s, 1 would have been enough. So that makes it heavily damaged, and because the boat is, in fact, fragile, that means this squad is now eliminated. So yeah, the river crossing can be quite deadly, and which is why these two extra cover from the smoke are really essential to keep those units alive. Barring, of course, terrible die rolls on the part of the Germans. But yeah, this is what happened. Back to the Allies. Let's see, what are they going to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's long range. Okay, let's go for the... I'm just going to push forward now and see how it goes. It's probably not the handiest thing to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wouldn't be able to do anything. This one, can anybody spot? You can spot for the mortar. Let's try that. Let's also go for the kill. That's 3 dice, normal fire against this unit. It has 2 cover from the destroyed building. It has 1 more cover for being an elite formation. It has 1 more cover for the heavy smoke. And as its normal fire, that's it. Yeah. 1 hit and 1 save, so nothing happens. Maybe I'm being overly cautious. That's certainly possible. I think I'm just going to fire at the at that unit over there. So this unit could open fire now, but it's not going to, because it would be long range, and 3 dice, I don't know, against the Sherman Firefly, it probably won't help. Technically, of course, it's not fatigued yet, even though I put the fatigue counter next to it. It has 12 dice, the Sherman Firefly, so that makes it 6 dice. They fire and move, and the Stug has 4 defense dice. We have 1, 2 hits and 1 save, so that is lightly damaged. For the Stug. Here I wouldn't have been able to fire with the 88 because of the destroyed building, which blocks line of sight. Here it would be possible. How many actions have I taken now? 1, 2. I think there's 1 left for the Allies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move it in here. Fire and move. No concussive firepower against such units, so just 3. And again, we have 4 defense dice against 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's go for the kill against those 2 units. 1 hit, but 2 saves. Back to the Germans. Again, I'm not playing as well as I should be with the Germans. I'm not thinking too much about what to do with these units. They actually don't even have any more units that are fresh. They could still play an artillery card or some other kind of card. Could do a sniper attack perhaps still. But does that make a lot of sense? Yeah, why not? Let's play a sniper card for the Germans. This one, choose an enemy squad within line of sight of any friendly squad, so even a fatigue one, and roll 3 dice. If you roll at least 1 6, immediately destroy 1 figure of your choice from that squad. I'm going to try to eliminate the officer over there. It's going to cost me 1 command point. We're going to roll 3 dice. Let's do it on camera. Nope, no 6s, so the officer survives. And from now on, I'm just going to be taking actions with the allies. Well, just going to fatigue the boat over here because it can't move because it's actually heavily damaged. Maybe I have to think of some kind of rule that will allow the squad to while a boat is heavily damaged to move into a river hex or something like that, and they can swim back to safety or something like that. Or maybe they're just pinned for the rest of the game. Or actually, oh yeah, basically pinned without having a pin token next to it because they can't move anymore. So I'll just fatigue these 2. This one, let's see what the conditions are again to move. I think I have to start in a shore hex to be able to do so. The squad must start its activation in a land hex adjacent to a Val River hex, and they didn't start here. But that does mean that they would start there on their next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, the machine gun is going to fire at them with 5 dice, 4 inherent dice, and 1 for being an elite formation. Let's go for the kill. They have 1 for being an elite formation and 1 for the heavy smoke. And that's no hits, only 1s and 2s, and 1 save. So the Americans get away with it. And then on the next turn, they will be able to board a canvas boat as well. This one on its next turn, if it survives, if it's still there, maybe the machine gun won't put itself into up-fire mode and it will just fire at them because almost certainly the Germans will be able, well, not almost certainly, the Germans will have the initiative on the next round as well, and they could just fire at it and fatigue the entire unit afterwards, but that should probably be enough to get rid of that unit as well. So it's really difficult for the Allies, as it should be, I suppose. I don't know just how lucky they were that the river assault was actually a success, but they took a huge gamble, of course, as you can also see here. But of course, it should also be possible to actually make it across the river. So again, that's something to look into and do some more play testing and see how that turns out. What else can the Americans do? Well, this unit can move. It's also a unit of, yeah, why not? 2 fatigued, and then on the next turn, let's put it over here. So there and here. I'm not sure if the machine gun would be able to fire at it in this hex then if I moved like this, or that it actually crosses line of sight of this one. I do think it does, so then it should be okay, and it certainly can see through the smoke here. So that one is over there. Let's see what we're going to do with some of the Brits. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this unit is going to fire at it with 5 dice and 2 cover for the woods, 1 for being an elite formation, 1 for the heavy smoke, normal fire. That's 2 hits and no saves. This is turning to be out a pesky unit. Again, I felt this throughout this entire playtest that I'm being much too cautious with the allies and I should just move on to the objectives. And yes, I will take a few hits, but really shouldn't be the end of the world, I guess. Even if I do get lightly damaged or even heavily damaged, also having still this card, tank repairs, which will allow me to turn a heavily damaged token into a lightly damaged one and remove a light damage token. What does it say exactly? As an action, so I could do that on the next turn if they actually survive. Well, and then do exactly what I said. So that is an option as well. This American unit, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, just a move then maybe. Or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. Yeah, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Would it be possible to fire it? Well, maybe yes, maybe no, probably not. They're behind the buildings. The main thing was to show you the river crossing anyway, and that takes a while. So one thing I have kind of decided on already is that rather than bringing on the Americans on round 2, I will already bring them on at the end of round 1, because first they still have to cross this ground to get to the river in the first place. And of course, they could also move here. What I'm also probably going to do is I'm going to have to start going to have American Division to start on this board only, not also on this board, which does mean that if they want to go straight for the objective, they have somewhat more terrain to cross to get there, and they can actually start here. But for now, let's finish this turn. Yeah. Okay, I guess maybe I should go for this and then go around it. There is enough time. This is difficult. That one is over here. British units and American units cannot combine fire, at least not for the time being. I might do away with that special rule, but for the time being, they can combine fire together. Maybe this unit could fire at that one. Do I need to really fire at it? That's also the question, because I don't actually get points for destroying German units or anything like that. But okay, let's try it. 4 dice against the heavily damaged Stug, which now has an armor value of 3 and 1 cover from the bombarded terrain. Note that bombarded terrain offers 4 cover to infantry and just 1 to vehicles. We score 1 hit, but 4 saves. So that one was certainly prepared for it. Let's try again with this American unit. So the exact same, well, not the exact same roll. They get 1 more attack die because they have 1 more figurine. Okay, now they did a lot better. That's 4 hits, 4 sixes even, and no saves. So that one is destroyed. That was a lot better. Which other units do they have? Well, this unit can just fire. 3, 4, 5. Uses 5 dice against that unit now. It's no longer in the entrenchment, so it has 2 cover from the woods. It has 1 cover for being an elite formation, and that's it. So there is actually a chance that they might do some damage over here. 1 hit and 1 save. So there was a chance, but it didn't actually happen. I think this machine gun should move in here as well, even though it may draw some fire, but no, not from these units, because those are behind and they can't see this one. There we go. This American unit, where could that one go? Maybe also in here. Does make for 1, 2, 3, 4 could go over here, over there, I suppose, and we'll move over this way. This is the most difficult way to get, definitely the most difficult objective to get to. 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe, and then I will have to stop. I guess I could combine fire with these. Yeah, well, let's do that. Maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the main unit, and well, or maybe this one should be the main unit because it's an expert and it will allow me to re-roll its dice. So that would be 4 dice, and have to roll those first, I suppose. 4 dice, all ones, but I'm allowed to re-roll 3 of them because of the expert specialization. Well, that's hardly any better, but at least we have 1 5 against this unit, and now still this unit fires in support. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the elite formation, so 3 more. That one rolls 1 6, so we have 2 potential hits. I could have rolled this together, obviously. Well, I couldn't, not the defense in this case, because of the elite formations. 1 for the heavy smoke, 1 for the elite formations, 2 for the entrenchment, and it's actually for the kill. And we have 1 save, so 1 German unit is destroyed. And this one is moving in here as well, but of course the machine gun is going to fire at it. And I could even add in some more units, why not? Because I really don't have all that many more units that could actually do anything. 4, 5, 6, 7, and these could fire along with 3 more, and it's 10. And this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 more. That's 13 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, obviously. And we have 4 cover from the terrain, 1 from the heavy fog, and 1 from the heavy formations. And we score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. No, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits and 2 saves. So that's 3 down. So the entire squad is eliminated. Was I allowed to actually do that? Each unit participating in a combined fire attack expends an action in doing so. Yeah, the Germans didn't have any actions anymore, but they would have a maximum of 3 actions. So I guess that's allowed in opportunity fire as well. Well, this one, so this is again a mistake I made because I don't really have any units left that could do any spotting because they're all fatigued. Happens to me more often than I find out that I still have a mortar somewhere in the back of the board, and I forgot to leave a unit fresh so that there's no longer any spotting possible. So I'll just fatigue it. That finishes the action round. Determine control over objectives. I don't think anything has changed there. So let's see. How many command points? First of all, the British and the Americans each get 1 command point for free for being for the Seize the Initiative card. The Germans have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 command points. difficult to find. 8 command points for the Germans, and the Americans have 1, 2, 3, 4 command points. Just put 5 and remove 1, and the British have 2, 3, 4, 5 command points as well. So let's see, receive command and spend command. Germans first. They have already 1, 10, 25, 30, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16, 17, 22, 27. Well, even if the Allies put all the command they have onto initiative, they still wouldn't be able to do that. And the Germans only have action cards available, so they're not going to spend anything else. The Americans are not going to spend anything either because they have an action phase card here and they will have to draw something else. The British probably do want to spend some command. They have 6 command total. And they are probably going to buy some more tanks, I suppose. Tank repairs, armored infantry, tank company. They don't have 7 command. 3, 4, 5, no. They do have a tank ace, which they could buy. That's what they're going to do. It's going to cost them 2, and they have 3 left. 1. I'll show you what the card does in a minute. 2, 3. There we go. Tank ace. Designate one of your heavy vehicles as an ace by placing the appropriate nation control marker next to it. It receives +2 firepower against squads as well as against vehicles. If this unit is destroyed, your opponent immediately gains 3 command points. And I've just paid the cost of 2. And it's going to be the Sherman Firefly, I suppose, even though there's also something to say for it to actually mark another unit as such, which would in that way also become very powerful. Well, let's do that. The Firefly is already very powerful, so I'll turn the regular Sherman into the ace. Do I want to buy any more cards for the British? I actually wanted to buy the tank company of 2 Cromwells, but it costs 7 and I don't have 7 points. What I do still have is a specialized reinforcements. Receive a squad of 4 regular infantry as reinforcements with one of the following specialization tokens: anti-tank, medic, flamethrower, engineer. Yeah, is that really necessary? I think I really do need tanks, and I want to buy that tank company. But yeah, I need another round of command points to be able to buy it. So they're not going to buy anything else. And the Americans don't have anything to buy, really. Determine initiative. The initiative stays with the Germans. Draw strategy cards. Well, let's just, practically finish the artillery deck. Increase priority. I already have one of those, but yeah, this one still have to pay, of course, and I can draw another one, sustain blanket. Okay, the Americans, do they need any more reinforcements? I think they have. It's not the units that they lack, it's the audacity and the boldness. Let's take another card from the Assaulter Leadership deck, and I just drew a Take Down the Beast. Place in your play area, but of course only after I've actually paid it, so that will be on the next turn, next round. When combining fire against a heavy vehicle, you may discard this card to gain 3 additional firepower. The British take another armored reinforcement card as well. Tank repairs, well, you've seen that one before. It also has a plus symbol, so another tank company, but in this case, 1 Sherman Firefly and 1 regular Sherman, but it costs 9, so I don't think the British will be able to afford that, so they'll have to go for the Cromwells probably, which are slightly cheaper. Remove tokens, I will spare you that, I will do that soon. Place units in op fire. In this particular case, I'm not going to. Well, only the 88. I'm going to put in off iron, not the other German units. Squad transfers, do I have any of those? Obviously, British units can't go and transfer with American units. I don't think we have any squad transfers. Scenario reinforcements and events, there aren't any, so advance the round marker, and that concludes turn 7. And that means that the Allies have 3 turns left, 3 rounds left to take all 4 objectives. And again, as I've said before, I think you have to play, or I have to play in this particular case, much more aggressively, much more boldly with the Allies, and just, move on to objectives. Yeah, okay, maybe the 88 it could kill me outright, but there's also a chance that I will be heavily damaged. I can then play the other card, the repairs, and I might get away with it. Ideally, I would have had 2 more tanks already, and then certainly the situation would have looked differently. What I do want to keep the way it is, ideally, is that there's really an incentive for the Americans to try and cross the river to get to those 6 command points. Command points are maybe not what they really need, but of course, yeah, they do create some kind of bottleneck, and the Germans could just, that's something they didn't do now, but yeah, that they could put a few vehicles around here as well, and not so much over here, but they could have moved the Stugs here earlier on and really cover this with a couple of vehicles, so that really becomes very difficult to take, along with that 88 on the far side of the river, and with a couple of infantry. Maybe this one is slightly too heavily guarded. I could move 1 or 2 infantry units over here, and then it's probably really necessary to make that river crossing, although I do want it to be an option to try and do it the other way as well. So I'm definitely going to playtest this scenario much more. Of course, I haven't finished this particular one yet, but it seems like it's going to be very difficult for the Allies to take all 4, probably mostly because they've been overly cautious, I think, and maybe not always having made the right choices. So I hope you've enjoyed this playthrough. If you stuck around until the very end, thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.